Hello friends, Adam here with FET. So it comes as no surprise to many of you that Fire Emblem Engage just kind of isn't in the public eye anymore. Other YouTubers have talked about it a lot. A lot of YouTubers have moved on to playing different Fire Emblem games, Fire Emblem Hacks, Advance Wars, whatever it is. And Engage has just kind of been forgotten. It's kind of weird, really. And you look at Three Houses, and that game had mad staying power in the community. And I think there's plenty of reasons why. And I think we compare them both, we can come to a conclusion as to why Engage just like kind of doesn't stick around. You know, it's not relevant anymore in the Fire Emblem discussion community stuff. So let's talk about that today. So what did Three Houses do well to keep players engaged? That's a pun. Number one, I think you can talk about the multiple story paths. I don't really want to talk about that today, but that's obviously something. To get the full experience, you had to play the game 4 different times, which I don't necessarily want to count that as like replayability, but I mean, it's there and you kind of have to, right? Or really it's just like a really long game, right? So you have to play the game 4 different times, and that's the thing. But that also has some drawbacks as well, because like doing part 1 over and over again is annoying. The Somniel, Garrick Monk Monastery can be a bit of a pain to go through, and that's a thing, right? But what it does do incredibly well, is has a fun cast of characters that all feel unique for the most part, despite having so many of the same tools available to everybody. So, what I mean by that is that like every character can become every class, aside from, you know, personal classes for the lords, and then also there's some of the gender exclusives, which are silly. We all know that. But there's some of the gender exclusive classes that exist in Three Houses. But beyond that, you know, anyone can be an archer. Anyone can be a fighter. Anyone can be a wyvern knight. You know, anyone can be a paladin. And you would think that would take away from the individuality of units, but ultimately, because of other things that they included in the game, it doesn't. Because there are still like different paths for characters that make sense based on other parts of their kit that only they have. Whether it's their personal skill or combat arts, maybe in a very rare case, like a crest they have. And that's a very cool way to make the game replayable, is by having characters still be unique enough that they have paths through classes that work for them better than others. And then also it makes some fun challenge rounds of being like, oh, well, I don't want to put this character in a class that's obviously their best one, or maybe you can do a run where everyone's in like a suboptimal class. People have done that. And then there's a lot of replayability that way. So how does that work? What do I mean? So in Three Houses, you know, you have combat arts, and I think that's the first one that comes to mind for me. Every character has, I think every character, there might be a couple that don't, but I'm pretty sure every character has at least one unique combat art to them. And by unique to them, I mean one that not everyone has access to. So for instance, Sylvain, Ferdinand, and Sedith all have swift strikes, but they're the only 3 that have it, right? So it's unique to those 3. And well, let's use Sylvain as an example. Sylvain with swift strikes, you really could just put him into any physical class and he's going to be fine. But if you want to take advantage of one of the best combat arts in the game, being a brave, you know, a lance attack with a brave effect, right? With like, I think it has a little extra hit and like 1 extra might or 2 extra might or something, and use that with like a really powerful lance or something, right? You probably want to have something like Lance Fair, which not every class in the game has Lance Fair. So there's an argument to say, oh, maybe I should just keep him on, you know, in Paladin rather than go into a master class that might have less strength or something, right? That also has Lance Fair. And you could argue that Wyvern's still better for flight and stuff and still has better stats, and I'd probably agree with you more often than not. But at least the question's there, right? Of should I put Sylvain somewhere with Lance Fair because of swift strikes? Whereas in Engage, that doesn't really exist, right? Every character has the same tools, and the only thing that really differentiates them is their stats and a minor personal skill, which I'll talk about in a minute. Another example of this in Three Houses, I look at like Leone and Cyril for that matter, because they both get a skill called Point Blank Volley, which is a 1-range bow attack that has a brave effect. Again, a very, very powerful skill, and Cyril in particular gets it really early. And the thing with that is that pretty much every bow unit, every archer, except for like Claude maybe, wants to be in sniper because of Hunter's Volley being one of the best, probably the best skill in the game. Right? Hunter's Volley is insane. But Leone has and Cyril have the unique combat art point blank volley that allows them to have a brave attack anyways. So you can make an argument that maybe they get more use out of the extra move of Bow Knight rather than staying in sniper. So just the little things, the little parts of a character's kit makes it a more interesting decision as to which class they go into. I think another part of this is personal skills. Yes, every character in both Three Houses and Engage have personal skills. The problem being in Engage, the personal skills don't really do much. There's very few that feel actually impactful. In contrast with Three Houses, where almost all of them feel very good and very important to take advantage of, to have a successful time on the hardest difficulty. There are tons, I can think of tons of personal skills that matter a lot. You have Bernadetta, who has a really potent one called, I think, Persecution Complex. If she's under full HP, she just deals extra damage, like a lot of extra damage, which is crazy. If you have Lysithea, who she doesn't help her in combat necessarily, but it gives her double weapon experience and double class experience. So she's mastering classes and stuff and getting new skills and stuff faster than anyone else in the game. Sylvain's another interesting one, where he doesn't necessarily get stronger with his personal skill, but he affects those around him, giving them +2 attack and +2 defense. And in conjunction with other characters' personal skills, like Hilda's, who does the same, so you can have them run around to be buffed together, or Leone's, who gets extra attack when she's near a male ally. Like, that's just really cool, really awesome buffs that you can really work with, right? Then you look at Engage. And it's like, well, I mean, I guess I could, get +3 hit and avoid for every female nearby. That's kind of cool for Marin. That's like one of the more impactful ones in my mind. Or, I don't know. I guess if my ally uses a healing item next to me, they get +50% healing. That's cool. That's just spiffy. Or we have beautiful ones like Etier, where if she uses an archer, a player phase unit, if she uses an item, a healing item, she gets +2 strength the rest of the turn. Why isn't that on something like why isn't that like Louis or Jade or something? That's so silly to me. Just most of them don't matter. There, of course, are good ones. You have Alir, who has a good personal skill. Veils is great. I think Diamant's is probably one of the coolest ones in the game, being that it turns his battles into he turns him into like this like bruiser archetype character where he deals a lot of damage but takes a lot in return, and I think that works really well for his for like personal skills that he gets and stuff, and Soul for his personal class and successor. That's a really cool idea, but that's like the extent of it, right? There's just not a whole lot to do with personal skills and then combining them with other class skills and things. So ultimately, Three Houses has extra tools for characters to use that play into the like limitless customization of classes and other skills in the game, whereas Engage doesn't have that. Engage has the emblem rings, but equipping an emblem ring on a character oftentimes makes them play similar to any other character that would use said emblem ring. So the way I've started to look at Engage is that there's not a lot of uniqueness with character, but emblem rings are where the uniqueness comes in. And you really can like affect how emblem rings act just like a little bit by which character you have them with, as opposed to the great effect that emblem rings had about a character being the more interesting thing. And the reason that doesn't work as well is because there just aren't as many emblem rings. If there were a lot more emblem rings, then I think there would be a better discussion for this. And I think there would be a lot more replayability. But without DLC, then there being 12 basically, and with DLC being 20, that's just not enough to make up for the lack of character customization, the character uniqueness that you get in a game like Three Houses. So yeah, that's it. That's why I think Engage fell off. And it is, it's too bad. It's too bad. I think Engage has really tight, solid gameplay. I love the maps. I ultimately love the emblem ring system, but it just, it leads to each playthrough feeling relatively samey, you know? That's just too bad. Just too bad. That being said, thanks for watching, guys. Please subscribe to the channel. I want to get to 20,000. We're like 500 away, which is a big ask. But if you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Help us get to 20,000 subscribers. We're very close. I would love to do that. Please like the video so other people can find it, and share it if you're feeling crazy. You know, share it on your social medias or with a friend, whatever. That would be sick. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you next time.